I have an example. I will not name names, but I personally have firsthand, I was there witnessing it, ethanol and heptane being used as a cleaning solvent. Heptane is very neurotoxic.
Hi guys, welcome to the Slow Burn podcast. I know what we're all thinking. Who the heck is this? I'm your temporary host, Brooke, and I'll be taking you through an interview with Derek today. So for the people that don't remember, what's your name? What do you do? And what'd you do before this?
So for those who don't remember, from my months on the channel back in the day, I started out as the fill tech supervisor with Modern Herb Co. And so I ran our fill lab. But then we expanded to our new North Carolina facility, and I was given an opportunity to take over the role as the production manager there. So now I currently, run all our production operations essentially, from fill to QC to pack out. So kind of stretched my overall scope of the company.
So what role does soil, nutrients, and the grow environment play in the overall quality of the product?
Oh, it's incredibly vital. I mean, it's the whole, there's a whole movement that's about feed the soil, not the plant. If you have a healthy biome that you're putting your plants in, you will get beautiful plants. If you don't, you can put all the chemicals in the world to try to amend it. It's not going to make much difference, So the soil is the most vitally important part of the whole process.
Okay. What is the difference between live resin and gas station D8?
So all our flower is grown on farms. We have farms in Oregon. We have farms in North Carolina. We have farms in Puerto Rico. So kind of all over that we're cultivating and harvesting from. The major difference between a live resin that we sell versus a gas station D8 will be the gas station D8 is almost completely synthetic. It had to be manufactured in a lab. They start with the input with the flower of CBD and they extract the crystals, but then it has to go through some heavy solvent washes and some chemical reconfiguration to make it into D8. So, it's kind of comparing coffee to meth. They're both stimulants, that's true, but one's definitely worse.
So if someone says THC is THC, what is missing?
I mean, chemically speaking, THC, it's just a molecule, right? So yeah, what really does matter is the synergy in the live resin. So you're looking at other things, your terpenes, your mix of cannabinoids or cannabinoids. So that's kind of why it's not just, you can't just blanket statement say, oh, all THC is the same. It's maybe for distillate, that could be a thing because you're literally just extracting the molecule of THC. But for our stuff, for live resin and live rosin, absolutely, the strain matters. The terpene blends matter. The balance of the CBD with the THC matter. So
why would you freeze the plant immediately rather than drying it?
So the biggest part with that, for our purposes, it starts to convert as it's curing. And so what we want to do is try to flash freeze it within 90 minutes of harvest to retain all the natural, THCA crystals from the live resin, but also, retain all the terpene profiles too. It's not that curing weed is good or bad, all dry flower is cured weed, but for what our purposes are for our live resin and that really bright taste that we're looking for, we really do need just the live resin, the flash frozen version.
Can you give us a brief explanation of what the live is in live resin and live rosin?
Yeah, so that's essentially what we were just talking about. It's the flash freezing of it is essentially keeping it live because it's not able to cure as fast. It's still curing while it's frozen, but just at a much slower rate.
Okay, so what happens to terpenes if you don't flash freeze them?
So the terpenes, they're volatile chemicals. And so exposure to oxygen, sunlight, all these different variables can cause them to start to degrade over time. So you'll lose a bit of flavor. And also your THC starts to convert more and more to the other molecules. So you'll get a more heavy sedation as it cures longer versus a brighter, more uplifting high if you stick with live resin.
Oh, so potentially gas station products could be using moldy flower products.
I mean, with this industry, there are a lot of substandard operations. You can get, solvent contaminants, just from the extraction methods if you're not doing it properly. People use pesticides that are banned, heavy metal contaminants. And there's just no way of knowing what you're actually getting due to the lack of current regulations, with D8 products especially. Technically, they don't even have to put D8 in it and they can sell it as D8. So you truly don't know what you're getting versus with like Modern Herb Co. I just spit. Versus with Modern Herb Co. We do all our testing and it's all third party tested and all our COAs are fully available, on all our packaging. So it's the extra step that we hope will become regulation for every company. But currently that's not the case.
Is the same quality flower also used in the live resin and live rosin?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The flour that we're processing, is the same flour you can buy from us as well, too. The pre-rolls and all that kind of stuff. So it's the same high quality flour. It's just we dedicate a lot of it for extraction.
Are they coming from the same farms as well?
The same various farms, yes. But like I said, we don't just have one farm due to the volume that we're producing. There's multiple farms that we're getting inputs from.
What are the quality standards that MHC uses during extraction?
It's mostly like submitting sampling for, testing for residuals, seeing if anything pops in there, if maybe, a grower was dishonest and we can find out pretty quickly. But beyond that, we submit our raw input samples as well for all of our materials and then our blended batches as well.
Is there a possibility for an unclean extraction then that some companies might be doing?
Okay. I have an example. I will not name names, but I personally have firsthand, I was there witnessing it, example of ethanol and heptane being used as a cleaning solvent. Heptane is very neurotoxic. So ideally you would not be putting that in your machines, but I've seen it done. And that's, again, why we need stronger regulations and why I'm proud to work for Modern Herb Co. because we just do it ourselves. So what kind of testing should good quality products go through then? It would be a full panel test. So not just the potency of what the product, because, when you look at a VDL, which is the label on the back of our packaging, it's going to give you your servings, your potency, and like the main dominant terpenes and cannabinoids. But really you want a full panel, which gives you, again, our pesticide testing, herbicides, mold, fungus, heavy metals. So you need a full panel test, not just like, hey, it's this strong, but what's in it?
Sounds like there's a lot of them, but what are the major red flags of unregulated THC products?
Lack of transparency. They will not have a legitimate website. They will not have legitimate links to anything. And it'll be really, really good marketing. Generally, packaging that entices children is a red flag. If you're seeing that's a company that does not care. So that's immediate red flags for me. If it looks like a gas station diet pill, avoid it.
And then for our viewers, what contaminants should they be worried about in flower products?
The major ones are like pesticides, obviously. A lot of those are neurotoxic, cause cancers and all sorts of issues. But you don't want mercury or lead in your product either, which that can come from the hardware itself. So these D8 companies, they may have a contaminated product they're putting in a contaminated cart or a contaminated pod. And, you can get manganese poisoning, lead poisoning, mercury, you name it.
So if somebody is smoking our products, what are the terpenes doing to the actual experience?
This isn't just my opinion. Science is backing this and research is backing this. The terpene profiles play almost the whole part. Your THC levels, your CBD levels, all these things play a part, but the terpene profiles will give you the type of high you're looking for. So the terpene blends and the ratios will really vary your experience.
What is the entourage effect versus full spectrum?
So the entourage effect comes from the full spectrum blends, essentially. And so full spectrum just meaning it's the live resin input that we're not extracting a specific, THC molecule or CBD molecule from. Whereas again, D8 is specifically extracted. And so you're not getting any of the synergy or the entourage effect, honestly. You're getting one molecule effect.
Then, okay, when somebody gets a package, what are the 3 immediate red flags?
I mean, again, a big one, flashy packaging that is enticing to children. That's a number 1 red flag, because that means they're not following any regulation at all, because there are rules in hemp. They're not very many, but they do exist. That's a big one. Number 2 would be, if it's not giving you any type of information as far as like where to find out who grew this or what it came from or anything, or websites that don't go anywhere. That's a big one.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me today. I know I'm not your typical host, but somebody had to bring the Slow Burn podcast to you. So I hope you enjoyed, and burn slow. Come on, that was pretty good.